Thank you so much for continuing with our discussion. As we were talking before the break, we were talking about the IEBC, the 4 IEBC commissioners led by Vice Chair Juliana Cherera. And Wakili, we were talking about the 4 the dissenting commissioners. The fact that the 4 commissioners disowned the results by Wafula Chebukati, saying that it was opaque in nature, and also that it was not transparent. The chair did not give them the opportunity to verify the results before announcing, meaning there is bad blood between the 4 commissioner and the other commissioners. In terms of mandate in IEBC, where do we draw the line in terms of the mandate of the commissioners and the mandate of the chair of the commission?
Who called the shots? It's very clear. The Constitution under Article 138. It says the chairperson of the IEBC is the one who is going to declare the final tally of the presidential elections. Nowhere has been mentioned under the Constitution. Now, if there are any laws that are going to go against that, including the Elections Act, then that is rendered obviously null and void, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Now, as a matter of fact, it will be a lie if the 4 commissioners are going to tell us that they were not taking part of the tally of the presidential elections. It is going to be a lie, because we have seen them coming in front of Kenyans, declaring the elections of the constituencies and the verification process, even when Chebukati was not around. So it is going to be a very blatant lie when they tell us that the elections were opaque and we did not see that the final tally was true from the Form 34As that was streaming in. So I don't think the 4 commissioners were justified to tell us that these elections were opaque. It is not.
So if the role of the chair, Wafula Chebukati, is to announce the results, especially of the President of the Republic of Kenya, what role do the commissioners play in the election cycle?
As to the other business of the IEBC doesn't only concern themselves with the elections of the presidential candidates or any other elections. So as to the other business, including delocation of regions, like wards, that is going to be done in 2024. That is the other business of the IEBC. So as to the other businesses of the IEBC, then the 4 commissioners will now come in, or the 6 commissioners will now come in to help the chairperson of the IEBC and the CEO of the IEBC to ensure that all those matters will run effectively.
And then the process of hiring or appointing the commissioners of the electoral body, is it the best process so far? What is your opinion about?
Unfortunately, we have had the most incompetent commissioners in the IEBC in the history of our country. Number one, I was looking at the circumstance where the chairperson of the IEBC incapacitated. Now the law is very clear that for you to be the chairperson of the IEBC, you must be an advocate and can make it to be the Supreme Court judge. Now, looking at the qualifications of the Vice Chair Cherera, Commissioner Cherera, it is very clear that she didn't attain that, because we have been told that she was an ECDE teacher and she had masters in something, I'm not so sure. But unfortunately, what if the chairperson dies or such a circumstance? What will happen? Now it will be very unfortunate, because we'll now have to go there to look for another commissioner. Now, constitutionally, it is always automatic that the vice chairperson of any organization or any state organ should have the same qualifications as the chairperson, so that in case of any incapacitation, the vice chairperson will take over. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I think the process to appoint the commissioners is highly skewed. And we saw last year all the commissioners that were appointed to the IEBC were appointed by the president. And when they were appointed by the president, we don't even know how it happened. They made it there. Now, unfortunately, 1 year later, we are seeing the results. The president is the chairperson of the Azimio team. So it's unfortunate because the process is still skewed. That is why I think the Supreme Court should give us a plan or a way so that we do not have to face such constitutional crisis in the future.
The essence of the chair of IEBC being a lawyer and to the standards of a judge.
Yes.
Why is that?
The constitution is very clear, such that we will not be having to you not understanding the processes of the law. And number two, you will be at the feet of the judges in case of a ruling. Basically.
Now let's go to the submission that is currently ongoing at the Supreme Court. Early, we saw James Orengo saying that the election was full of manipulation, deceit, rigging in favor of the president-elect William Ruto. Bearing in mind that this is a senior lawyer in this country, what can you say about those sentiments in relation to do they merit for the Supreme Court nullifying the elections?
When you are a senior counsel, nothing merits you to win a case. You are just a senior counsel and you are respected as such. But when it comes to a case, it will depend on how a certain team will present their case. So if James Orengo will merit the case and give enough evidence to the court as to prove that Azimio has a merit over the elections to be nullified, then that will be fine. However, what I think, it is very unfortunate that the legal team of Azimio have chosen or have resorted to very unfortunate errors, making errors in their own petitions. We have seen them revising their affidavits, including John Githongo. We have seen them doing a lot of things because they are giving us what is not real per se. So if you are going to give us something that happened in 2017 or something that doesn't come out of the election petition, then that will not be real. We are not going to believe you from the very beginning. So I think Azimio lead counsel, Honorable James Orengo, coming to tell us that Ruto didn't win fairly, we are not going to prove that by words. Bring us evidence, as the court will allow you to win this case.
And then what is the impact of presenting evidence before the court and coming back to recant, as we saw John Githongo, as you said, in his affidavit? What will such a move impact in the case in terms of making it the case substantial or otherwise?
There's something in law called judicial notice. Judicial notice is where the court already has knowledge of what is happening in the country. For example, judicial notice will happen when the court will rule in favor, in case they rule, maybe they rule in favor of Kenya Kwanza because they were there when the elections were being done. So by John Githongo recanting the affidavits he wrote before, it suggests that there is something weird about your case. It suggests that maybe you are trying to support someone or you are paid. So the court is not going to assume or turn the other way around and say, we didn't see that happening. So it is something that happens all the time, that the court makes a judicial notice of that elections happened, number one, and elections everyone could download the results from the portal. And John Githongo filed and recanted the evidence, and that suggests something. So it is something that happens every time on the Supreme Court. I do not want to be the mouth of the judges, but what I think is that it happens all the time.
Azimio la Umoja have started celebrating in this case because yesterday we saw the judges are giving orders to IEBC to open the server for them, and also recounting of ballot boxes for 15 polling stations in the country. Should that be something to worry about, especially from the petitioner side, from the respondent side?
It is not something to worry about. You know, only it happens when you are given a bread and you think you will not get angry again. Azimio is just, they are just happy as usual when they win something, and it doesn't mean that because servers have been opened you will win it, because Honorable Commissioner Chebukati came in and presented all the Form 34As to the Supreme Court. What does that suggest? You can even recount, because he's very confident of himself. Now, you can only be happy after you have won the case. You cannot be happy too early and come to be disappointed. Just before the elections, they were very happy that they were being supported by the deep state, the system, and all those machineries they had. But unfortunately, they didn't. So that is why you see most of the Kenya Kwanza guys relaxed. Why? Because they are very aware that everybody is happy because they have chances to win. So Azimio should not be so sure of what will happen before the judgment is made.
And then, in your from where you sit, what is your opinion about the case so far, from the way the judges have been conducting some of the rulings, from the way they allocated time to the petitioners and also to the respondents? What can you say about that?
I think it has not been that bad. However, I just saw that it was quite unfair for the limitation of lawyers who are going to be making submissions of particular group or of respondents or petitioners, because now, like in the Kenya Kwanza's respondents, petitioners, and the IBC, you realize that only four lawyers will be responding against more than 18 lawyers, because there are a lot of petitions. So the process has been quite well, fairly well. I just see some setbacks in terms of time allocation. Like you see, Azimio have more than 10 hours to make their submissions or to submit their petition, and the Kenya Kwanza team have less time. Like they only have 3 hours to make their submissions, and another 3 for the IBC, and another 3 for rebuttal. So it has not been that bad. However, we just wait and see what will happen.
And then we saw yesterday the courts listing 9 issues that they will be using to make their final ruling on this case. What is your take on those issues?
All the issues are very nice. All the issues have been drawn from factual basis. But I was looking at issue number 8 of that particular, all those issues, that says there should be enough magnitude of irregularities to merit nullification of the result. Now, if there will be no enough magnitude, you know we cannot really define what magnitude can extend to. But if that will really merit, then the elections will be nullified. But unfortunately, it is so hard to arrive to that, because now Raila Odinga will have to prove enough magnitude. Now, from the evidences they are presented, unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. All the other issues are just surrounding the bigger elephant in the house. When you look at all the other issues, they are just surrounding the bigger elephant in the house. They do not want to face it. The only bigger elephant in the house is, were there enough irregularities as to merit the nullifications of these results? Now, that is so hard to prove, because if you are going to come with allegations and rumors, the court will not rely on that.
We saw yesterday an application by the 4 judges to be given the authority to appoint the lawyers for IEBC being rejected by the judges. From as a lawyer, why? What do you think the 4 commissioners wanted to be given the opportunity to hire the lawyers for the IEBC?
You know, something very funny happened because they thought they have such power. Unfortunately, IEBC is one, and IEBC is led by the chairman. Now, when you are led by the chairman has the right to appoint lawyers on behalf of the commission, not the commissioner. And the law is very clear. The law doesn't allow the commissioners to lead the IEBC. Why do you want to give lawyers to the IEBC, yet you are just a commissioner? You are not the chairman. The Constitution hasn't even given you any role at all in the declaration and the tally of the presidential election. It is the chairman. The Constitution hasn't even given the chairman, hasn't even told the chairman that you can have meeting with the commissioners. It is the choice of the chairman to say, now let me have the meeting with my commissioner. However, if it doesn't meet them and decides that, the chairman is just the conveyor belt of the elections. Now, this is the weirdest thing about these elections. The 4 commissioners thought that they could make a decision out of the election. You cannot make a decision out of something that has been decided by Kenyans. You should just be a conveyor belt that when the results are here, it is your duty now to tell Kenyans that this is the winner. Now, unfortunately, as been presented by the affidavits of Commissioner Chebukati, it is very clear that somehow they wanted to force a rerun, maybe because they were paid or not, or they were not, I don't know. However, we are going just to sit back and watch the drama as it unfolds.
And then IEBC is supposed to be independent. After seeing what Chebukati said in his affidavit, do you think IEBC is independent?
IEBC stood firm. And that is why His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto said Chebukati is our hero in this election because he stood firm as the chairman. We don't know whether the other commissioners were bought or not, but we are sure of one thing, that IEBC stood firm against all odds to ensure that Kenyans got what they deserved. Kenyans got what they voted for, got the final true result of the elections. So anything else, I think IEBC, by standing firm, they proved that a state organ can choose to be independent or not. Because we have seen other independent state organs like the IEBC, the EACC, the DCI being used negatively to influence a particular agenda. So that happening, we saw IEBC standing firm against the state, against all the machineries of the state, and we are happy that the final result came out.
In his affidavit, Wafula Chebukati said that the Raphael Tuju, together with other government officials, met him at Bomas of Kenya and wanted him to moderate the results of the presidential election. And he was categorical that the former Busia Senator Amos Wako, who is also a former Attorney General, narrated that at some point in the elections of this country, as government officials were required to moderate so that to make the country to be in safer hands. Having had such narrations, what can you say about the previous elections in this country?
It is very unfortunate that some private individuals who do not owe the state anything, private individuals who think they are the deep state of this country, still continue to lower the standards of our elections. It is very unfortunate that some people still think that this country will be held hostage forever. When Chebukati said that, I'm told he submitted together with video evidence showing that Tuju went in the morning at 3 a.m. to Chebukati's house. Unfortunately, Tuju has came out and said it was actually 4 a.m. Let me ask you, who wakes up at 4 a.m.? Who wakes up at 3 a.m. for a meeting? It is, it beats reasonability of any prudent man in this country for you one day to come to my house, waking me up at 3 a.m. that you want to have a meeting with me. It beats logic, right? And when you do that, it suggests that you add something queer in your mind or something weird about it, because what did you want to talk to me about? I am the IBC chairman. I have a role to play. I don't need anyone to guide me in that particular role. I must play the role as the Constitution has stipulated. So if you are going to come to me with anything else, and then I will just have to look the other way and say that I'm not going to stand with you.
And if indeed Wafula Chebukati is saying the truth about being the government officials wanting him or coercing him to moderate the elections, Tuju also came out and said that Wafula Chebukati paid him a visit in his house. So from having heard from both sides, whom do you think is maybe saying the truth?
The one who is saying the truth is the one who has filed affidavits in court. You cannot present a matter to a court of public opinion and expect that they will determine the final ruling of the court. If indeed you are saying the truth as Tuju, why didn't you present the affidavits recanting the other affidavits or fighting the other affidavits to the court? Because you do not want the truth to be told. You want just the public to stay in ignorance. You don't want the public to know the truth. That is why you keep lying to the public. Otherwise, if indeed it was the truth, why didn't you present your affidavits to the court so that the court can analyze the affidavits and make the decision whether you are saying the truth or not?
And I know the mandates to give the mandates to give the outcome of this case lies to the Supreme Court judges. But as a lawyer, what are some of the possible outcomes that you think might be witnessed on the 5th of next month?
Okay, there are only two possible outcomes. The other one said by Azimio that Raila Odinga to be declared president will not happen. So there are only two outcomes in these elections, in this petition, that Ruto to continue remaining as president-elect, or there is a rerun. Anything else will not happen. And in case there is a rerun, let me tell you what will happen. Raila will be beaten by more than 1.5 million votes. Why? Because Kenyans had already moved on. Kenyans want to move on. And even if you saw immediately after Ruto was declared, a lot of Azimio guys came out and said, what? Raila Odinga, kindly accept. We want to move on. We have a lot of things to do. Life is so hard right now. Kindly, in the name of good faith, come out and just concede the defeat, and we'll be fine. We want to move on. So Kenyans will be coming out to fight against, I'm very sure you have heard about political punishment, where people will come out to punish you for your poor decisions. It happened in Kericho County. Charles Keteru was punished very severely, yet he was a very powerful man. So it happens every time. You can be punished very badly when you continue. Like, how can you reject elections 5 times? It even beats all the logics in this planet. You cannot be declaring yourself every time saying, I won, I won, I won, I won. 5 times, surely. It beats logic. Even Lincoln in America didn't do that.
Now, in terms of, in the event there is a rerun, or in terms the elections are nullified and Kenyans are forced to go back to the polls, do you think IEBC is eligible to hold those elections as currently constituted?
I think we will have to find a way, which it is a constitutional crisis, by the way. Actually, Chebukati will be proven to have committed a crime under the electoral laws of this country. Then we will see turning of the tables, because now Chebukati will have to go home having committed a crime twice. It is believed that he committed a crime in 2017, and that is why the elections were nullified. And in 2022, if it is proven, and then something will have to happen, which is Chebukati will not, may not, may not rule or make decisions over these elections or look over these elections. So in case such a thing happens, we'll have to think twice, maybe look at the 6 commissioners, whether there will be any of them who will be eligible to take over as the commissioner. But at the same time, we must have 7 commissioners because of the decisions of the IEBC. So I think we'll have to introduce a new commissioner. Now, we don't have time for that, because the Constitution has said very clearly that the elections will be held 60 days after the nullifications of the prior elections. So if anything happens at all, we don't have time to choose or bring in other commissioner. So Chebukati might take over the rerun again.
As we wind up, what should Kenyans and maybe East Africa expect in this case as we head into day 2 of the case, where the respondents will be getting an opportunity to respond to some of the issues raised by the petitioners?
Unfortunately, this petition is a waste of time, a waste of a huge time, because when you look at the petition of the Raila Odinga and the 7 other petitioners, they do not have the merit, they do not have the evidence, they depend on rumors. They have even started introducing fake IP addresses to prove to the court or to convince the court that they actually have a case. If you look at the interviews of the chief agent of Azimio, Ole Kantao, right? Yeah. You see that this guy doesn't have any basics in law. This guy thinks that by shouting you have a case to prove or you have a point, and that is why you will realize that after these elections you will be very surprised, or after these petitions you will be very surprised that it will be struck out by the court if the court will not be bought. I just saw a tweet yesterday by Ahmed Nasir saying that you'll be a very stupid man if you think that the one who paid the 4 commissioners will not pay the maybe 4 judges of the Supreme Court. However, we believe that the Supreme Court will stand strong. We believe that the Supreme Court will make a justifiable ruling. We believe that the Supreme Court will stand with the decisions of the Kenyans.
And then maybe the very last one. If you think the president-elect beat Raila Odinga hands down in the elections, why would he go to court to challenge the elections?
Unfortunately, that is the norm of Raila Odinga. We do not really know the agenda in his mind and the agenda in the minds of Azimio people. But one thing is sure, you have seen Julius Malema of South Africa coming out and telling Raila, kindly concede, don't be greedy for power, because Raila seems to be so greedy for power. Unfortunately, this round, I think this isn't about Raila Odinga. This is about some people behind Raila Odinga, who we do not know who. We do not want to mention names. We know them, but we do not want to mention names. It is very clear that somebody is pushing an agenda because he doesn't want someone to rule. And he has made himself very clear in public, saying that I will not hand over power to someone like this. You see? So it is very unfortunate that this one was not about Raila Odinga. It was about some people behind Raila Odinga, the Mount Kenya billionaires and all others who still want to be the only one who are rich in this country, and while the others continue getting poor. So, and as you have seen, inflation is going up in the country, and as the saying goes, the higher the inflation, the richer they get rich, and the poor will get poorer. So that is what they want. That is why they do not support the idea that every Kenyan should come to the same table, every Kenyan should win election, should have a chance to lead this country, every Kenyan should have a chance to be rich.
Thank you so much, Wakili, for coming and also for sharing your thoughts on this case. And we shall be waiting to see how the case pans out in the next days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the time we had with a lawyer, an expert in law, who has been helping us unpack some of the issues that have already come out in the case before the 4 judges of the Supreme Court. And so we continue to bring you the live coverage of the case, and also analysis with law experts in studio. That is the time we had for you today, but we'll be back with more.
Thank you very much.